We will start off with TSM taking away our first attacker as they are on the defensive side. I'm sure that most people will know who are watching Des, but just in case not, so they get to take out 2 operators each. The defenders start us off with an attacker. The attackers then take their own attacker and a defender, and the defenders finish us off with the last ban. So TSM take Nomad out of the running, and Team Liquid choose to take Thatcher. So TSM taking Nomad, just suggesting there that they're maybe going to use the roam on defense a little bit, try and get in and around, get mobile and fluid around the map, and the air jabs of Nomad would potentially stop them doing that, so they've taken those away. Now Thatcher and Kaid going away, so there's going to be no electrification of hatches, and to a degree walls as well. There will be other options to deny those hard reinforcements from being breached, but Mirror will be our last operator taken out of things. That's going to round things up for us. Nothing wildly unusual there.
There's some complementary bans as well. The Kaid and the Thatcher, one that you often see paired together on something like a Clubhouse, especially when you have a Maverick ban coming out, because Maverick is what you turn to when a Thatcher is banned away and hatches are electrified, often walls as well, as we saw in the previous matchup on Cafe when attacking into the bakery. Just makes sense to have the 2 off the board to forget about all that riffraff and focus instead on other things inside the game. Going to be a last second switch away from the Maverick onto the IQ, a pick that we don't see all that much, but one that I think has been flexed in at the perfect time by Liquid, because Achieved has stepped away from the Melusi onto the Valkyrie, so going to deal a lot with that. And one of the games that we saw, I believe it was Cloud9's last game on Coastline, well, we had an IQ playing upstairs and saw everything going on downstairs. There was someone sat on cams, there was a pulse downstairs, there was a vigil. All of it laid bare in the eyes of the IQ, so we'll see if Ness can make good use of that one, catch out those Valkyrie cams. But Tim, what I love most about this map is it is still fresh. There are still things to be learnt about it. There are still new ideas being brought along, and even to comment on the previous map, we saw a little bit of that coming, and I thought on the top floor, holes that were coming out of TSM, at least not commonly, things that we would have seen. I'm hoping here we get lots of fresh ideas, because this is now do or die for Team Liquid. They lose this map, they are out of Six Invitational 2021. Have as many kill records as you like, it's not going to help you lift the hammer unless you can convert it into round and map wins.
It's all for vanity at that point, Des, if you don't manage to get through and claim that title. I said it about Bolo and Shaiko the other day, and I would extend the sentiment to Palu and Nesk, and it's not to suggest it's going to be anytime soon, but to imagine those players not lifting the hammer potentially within their career is almost unthinkable, especially for somebody like Nesk, who has been, for my money, Des, one of the best players to ever touch this game for consistently the longest time as well. He's right up there with Pengu for me in the annals of Siege history, is Nesk, and to see him potentially go out at this late stage, it's the furthest that Team Liquid have ever progressed. It's the best that he's done, and I'm sure he's going to play hard on the opener, Des, with a kill onto Merc to get us underway, to keep himself in this tournament.
Merc gets murked. Who knew that could happen? He was the one finding a lot of the entry kills on the start of Cafe, but here, shut out nice and early on. Ness doing his work with the IQ, like we commented on earlier on. So not only is he picking up the entry kill, but also then proceeding on to go and pop out any gadgets that he can possibly find. The second one gets tagged out here. It's a great early discovery. All this inside the first minute and 15 seconds. An entry kill and 2 Valk cams destroyed. He's definitely getting his value for money on this IQ pick.
So the pressure being applied by Sexy Cake now.
Knock, knock.
Just looking to get those lines of sight opened up. He's just holding a view down onto the blue stairs as well. There goes the initial breach, as that is just forcing those defenders away from Master and Office in particular, Des. That's giving the bit of vertical pressure to Team Liquid once they achieve that as achieved, jumps over the balcony and scurries away. So that is Team Liquid in possession of the top floor, in possession of the first 2 kills, and in possession of a serious advantage here in round 1.
Exactly what you wanted to see. We were already coming in. The TSM might start off strong, but we did also comment on saying that this is a very attacker-leaning map right now in the meta. I believe in some regions it's as low as 30% defender win rate. It is that bad. And some sites definitely not doing anything to help that. Ness doing a lot to help Liquid's chances in the round. Double kill for himself. And also yet another pick-off on the IQ. Again, maximum value. 2 left on the side of TSM. They've got a hold for 35 seconds. Something says to me, even with a C4 in back pocket, there won't be enough that Geo can do here to keep the team going in this round, unless he can catch one here inside of Solera. And that's going to be a freebie. About the only free one that he should be able to find. No, it wasn't.
He got the down.
Okay.
He got the down. It was
Didn't even look at the kill feed.
coincidental that the kill came in at the same time. It was Sexy Cake who was killed, but that one way or another leaves us 2 versus 3 with 15 seconds left to go, and this would be a big turnover for TSM, Des. But Palu, he's going to find Gio, and it's a matter of time. You see his backpack. Come on, there we go. Get the kill. Palu finishes off Charla, finishes off round 1, and Team Liquid, they start us off with a big start on Chalet.
Okay, it's a little bit dicey from Palu, but a kill is a kill, a round is a round, and progress is progress. Good way to get things underway. Good aggressive start, especially from Ness with 2 big kills coming out and shutting down the potential for any roams using those Valkyrie cameras. That's what you love to see. Let's go into round number 2, stepping into Master and Office. And I know for the longest time that a good number of people have said, why would you ever play in Snowmobile downstairs? It's the worst site in the game, lowest defender win rate, blah, 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 blah. Some regions, and I think of APAC when I say this, and a couple of teams in Europe too, have played it from time to time. So I'm really keen to see if we step down there and what that sort of setup looks like, because commonly, I think as they touched on the desk, the library kind of becomes the centerpiece of any defense. You'll always see teams extended down there looking to waste time. I remember TSM playing on it last week, and I think it was Bolo who was in the bottom left corner for the entirety of the round. All of his team died around him, and he was the last man left standing in there in a 1 versus 4, and unfortunately couldn't clutch anything else. But I expect to see at the very least for TSM that they will have a man or 2 inside that room.
TSM then in round 2, they move themselves vertically up 1 floor. Last time around they tried to defend dining and kitchen. They decided that that was not for them, so they could not stand the heat, Des. They've got themselves out of the kitchen and they are up to Master and Office. The defense is going to be largely similar. We will see Team Liquid come in and no doubt try to breach that K9 wall again that they managed to last time, that leads into the Office, just at the bottom of your screen at the minute. Thank you, Easy. There we go. That's exactly the one I'm talking about. There will be no doubt a focus potentially towards that wall from Team Liquid, although they have shaped up initially looking at potentially getting themselves into Solarium.
We had a good laugh about this in EUL, I remember. Solarium. The variety of ways that you can say. I think we settled on Solarium in the end. Just a small little memory coming out there. Again, with this IQ pick coming out, they're going to spot exactly where that yokai is going and can't get it because it's behind those lovely big thick beams, but they're going to know that it's there. Now, the chance comes for Gio to either move it away or leave it present and try and bait them into trying to push him for it. You can see his screen lit up here with the litter of gadgets that are scattered around, all 4 of them sat in front of their faces. Again, that play might come in from Liquid to say, let's remove those nice and early. There's another yokai also lurking here on the north side, so everything's currently committed in towards the north. And as you can see, they're slowly moving them away. He keeps on getting the pings that these things are moving in and out, but it's a question now of whether or not he can clear them out. There we go. That's 1 removed. So this time it's not Valkyrie camera hunting, it's going to be the yokai drone hunting.
He was waiting on that first one for the longest time, and the second he took his scanner and it dropped down and buzzed away. Now then, he does locate the second by chance as well as he sees it bouncing up and just trying to get onto a surface that it can stick to. Takes pot shots through the wall, but will not be able to find it. It's just hidden in there in the corner behind that hard reinforcement.
Robot Wars!
There's a bit of a drone battle going on as well between the regular attacker drone and the yokai, which manages to escape for the time being at least. Now PSK just feeding information back in on a yellow ping there, letting his teammates know that there is a defender lurking. Palu, he's moving slowly up to the Sexy Cake.
It's 10 alive!
Down Des. 5 still on either side, and Sexy Cake's going to be successful here. The cover is in place. Palu gets 1, he gets 2, Des. Palu going big to kick us off here in round 2. Gio finds 1 onto Sexy Cake after the plant is secured though, and there is now about 23 seconds left for TSM to turn this around. They have to have the kills by that 7th second, so they have time to disable the active diffuser. Gio, he just flashes it there, goes in and thinks about trying to get that disable off, but cannot do it as the 2 kills come in from PSK onto Gio and achieved to finish the round. Team Liquid showing the value that can be found in getting the diffuser on the ground.
Not every day you see a 10 men still alive diffuser going down. One of those that you see the reason for the yokais coming in and maybe a little bit too much reliance on them to do the hard yards. But TSM letting that one slip through their fingers. Liquid being as smooth as Liquid, stepping in there, flexible and able to get it down in a great position. And you mentioned Palu with an excellent 2 kills on the downstairs, because at that point TSM are already panicking, thinking, my God, we've got to go and contest. Forget about him on the west main. They had the 1 player on the doorway, which achieved it, or on the window, sorry, that Achieve did pick up. I thought maybe we'd see someone go for a run out of trench, or maybe a jump out of the window, anything to contest the player that steps and stopping inside of Office. Achieve did win it in the end. But either way, all just slips through their fingers. It's 2 rounds quite convincingly to the side of Liquid Ace.
Third defensive round coming up for TSM. They're going to try their third site, Des, without securing a win as of yet. They've brought the Frost along. Frost mat placed on the double window into Games Room there. Nothing too unusual. Sometimes you'll actually get the Frost double up and put 2 mats there to try and make it more difficult to shoot out on the way in through the window. When there's one, you've got a pretty high percentage chance of vaulting in there and shooting it out. There is a chance, there is a small chance that it won't happen every time and it can still snap shut on your leg. But TSM choosing to just go for the single Frost mat setup on that window should be reasonably easily cleared. I'm sure Team Liquid will be aware of the likelihood of it being there. There's no doubt going to be a big top floor battle again here, Des. We can't overstate really how important top floor is on Chalet. Dining and kitchen, master and office, bar and games, 3 sites out of the 4, top floor is going to be fought over.
And vertical play was a big thing that we spoke about on the previous map, especially well utilised by Achieve, constantly down there with the C4, and in one round even the Kaid Electroclaws was beautiful to see. And here it feels it's not really being as impactful as TSM would like, not playing in behind those C4s, not able to deny as much as they would like. In this round, leaning on 2 bulletproof cams to feed them more information, as well as the 2 C4s, plus the shield, which no doubt is going to be positioned here at the top of the library stairs.
Nesk just moving across that top floor with Moringa in tow, looking for this clearance. The ping comes out for an ADS there, and this is where the battle line has been drawn. As TSM, Geometrics just up at the top of the library stairs there. He's got a Goyo shield in front of him, and he's going to hold on to that position for as long as possible. They really don't want to give up library. That is where you get the direct vertical control down into sight, and it enables the attackers to get in and put the diffuser down and activate it then. So for the time being, Team Liquid, they're going to have to try and just unpick this puzzle that is in front of them. Nesk gets the drone out. He's looking to try and gain some information. In goes the frag grenade from Parlu, and that is going to force Geo further down those stairs. As the Vulcan shield detonates, the fire will clear momentarily, and that gives a little bit more access potentially to Team Liquid here, but Bolo is still a problem in this power position on Mezzanine.
Yeah, still got the 2 ADSs in front of him as well, which are protecting the player at the top of the library. So a good hold to kick things off for TSM, wasting about 2 minutes so far. Wonder at what point they'll have to drop away. You can normally afford to hold the vertical for as long as you like. This time it's Merc striking up, but Parlu's just better when he swings onto Geo. Merc with a second, though, was better momentarily. Okay, 3 versus 3 as Sexy Cake evens things out and shuts down the fragger on the side of TSM. 3 versus 3 and 50 seconds to play. Not quite yet at the point where there's going to be a force push coming out of the attackers, but they need to worry about everything else that still needs clearing. A bit of a whiff C4. Curious one to come out. Sharla finding a kill onto Moringa not long after. 3 versus 2. Utility singing in as he runs across there. The flash masking him very temporarily. The kill not able to come through for TSM. And now they're in a spot to be able to make things happen. 6 rather than 4 X-Karos, but in a bit of a hurry. You can't blame him. It's the only action these X-Karos are going to see all round long. 20 seconds to go, Ace. Now's the time to go for Liquid unless Achieve can shut it down, which he absolutely can. 3 versus 1. Diffuser's cold dead on the ground. I don't see a way that PSK can pull this off.
Nope, that's round 3 done as PSK looks to move in. 12 seconds left to go. Can't find the first kill. Achieved with a great headshot. Big play from him at the end of the round there to pick up those 2 kills. First of all, dropping that diffuser down cold on the ground and then just mopping up PSK like a spilt drink at the end there as he finishes off the round. 2-1 to TSM. That is their first successful defense. They're going to need a few more, but this is not the end of the world, Des. We do see the attackers doing well on Chalet quite often.
We do. It is attack leaning at the moment. I think for the longest time we'd always say that new maps tend to be defender leaning. Not so much that you haven't found the best strats to begin with, but more that attackers have still got to figure out the best way to attack it. How can they make use of the seemingly very limited time you actually get in around 3 minutes? Sounds like a lot in your head, but once you start thinking about, okay, get to the building, drone it out, get inside the map, get back on drones again, coordinate some utility clear, start setting up for the execute, hopefully not lose anyone in the process. Those 3 minutes very quickly become nothing in the grand scheme of things, and you find yourself a little bit panicked. Whereas at the minute, teams are really shining at attacking this map. We'll see if the trend continues though once Liquid go onto their defense, because heaven knows they might just be excellent defenders here on Chalet.
They may well be. Round number 4 then, we're going to be back to kitchen and dining. We saw this back in round number 1 for TSM. Team Liquid were able to overrun them reasonably easily on this one. Nesk opened us up with a kill onto Merc, and it all went downhill from there as Palu got a big 3k to close out the round, and TSM were just washed away in front of their aggression. They couldn't hold on to the top floor. They were forced back to site quickly, and the pieces of the puzzle, the defense just crumbled really within the first few minutes. So this time around, TSM, they need to make a better job of those top floor challenges. They don't want to give that up too quickly, and they certainly don't want to be losing their lives up there.
Absolutely don't. Again, big heavy shields set up here as well. The Goyo always going to help out with those sort of things. Looks like to begin with they're going to concede control at least out towards the library side quite early on, not bother having a setup there. And in this case, I understand you want to put all of your resources instead inside of office and bedrooms, sat above the actual sites itself. Some teams might commit one man out there. In this case, it's Merc with a couple of ADSs sat around piano looking to do a little bit of contesting through the window, but nothing to be found. Backs away quite smoothly. Doesn't want to get himself caught out too early, as he has been a big early round contributor for the team in finding those kills once Liquid starts stepping up for the challenge.
Nesk once again clearing out those electronic gadgets. IQ very, very powerful when it comes to dealing with that utility, but also from just giving an idea. There's a couple of ADSs there, so do you know what? Maybe there's somebody playing on piano because they're trying to stop us pushing into that location. 5 versus 5 still, as we don't have an opener yet. The silhouettes tell us that there is somebody up above, but won't be able to see the man for the time being, and the Vigil escapes with his life for now. Merc really playing with danger here, Des. He's going to get burnt if he's not careful.
You can see him just stepping into each other's angles, and I'm sure Merc saw the leg there, but didn't want to take the challenge, I think. Just keep on trying to reposition for a better angle. Now has to step away as the wall gets opened up. And this spot now being pushed in does mean that Merc is in a position where he needs to be cautious. And Rogue Grenade comes singing in, can catch out onto that shield and put him in hot water very quickly, given it is one with the Vulcan strapped to the back. Means it will explode into flames when destroyed. 3 members from the side of Liquid starting to strap up here as well, getting ready for the push in. And potentially from the doorway, we've seen this quite a few times in terms of the contest coming in. Grenades at the ready, doors blown out. This is when it could catch the grenade if it bounces it correctly.
Merc's played this really well. Look at him, he gets out of there with his life as well. That's 2 minutes burnt, Des. This is much better from TSM here. They've kept hold of the top floor for the longest time right now. 55 seconds left to go, and Team Liquid have got a big job ahead of them. 5 versus 5, and they need to start finding kills here. They are not even anywhere near being able to push on towards the site. This is looking good for TSM as Bolo and Charla find kills for themselves. Sexy Cake manages to trade out Bolo with a headshot, but still 4 versus 3 as TSM come out on top of that situation. That is another one coming in for Merc. He's had a great round. I've got to shout him out again on the Vigil. He's absolutely played his role perfectly, wasting time, finding kills, just making it impossible for Liquid to push forward. It's all down to Sexy Cake and Moringa right now. They're trying to find anything. They're trying to salvage something out of this round now. There we go. Clear Pigeon shooting, takes down the Nitro. Sexy Cake was trying to get the diffuser down, but as his cover dies, he has to drop off. He manages to find one. The time runs out, Des. The time runs out. The 6th man coming in for TSM there, claiming the round, and that levels us up 2-2. And I can see a frown on your face, Des. I can see a frown.
Gio, bro, let's level it a little bit. You're walking into a room in which a guy isn't even facing you. You've got a shotgun in your hand. You've got an SMG you can switch to. And you stand there like a bit of a lemon and get blasted in the face. I don't know what was going on. It ultimately had 0 impact in the round, but it's one of those that you look at and just question marks appear in your head. They appear in chat. I'm sure lots of lull emojis are in there as well, all just spam through for whatever the hell happened at the end. But after the first 2 rounds and us commending Liquid so well, it's 2-2, Tim. TSM are staging a bit of a fight back on the defense. Again, we'll wait for the second half to really comment much further on how things kind of shape up. For Liquid, I thought they did well at the start. They got themselves in control of the office wall, started to look for their push in, but pretty soon after, we saw, well, there's 60 seconds left. You are pinched against the clock, and there's questions to be asked there around timeliness. Ultimately, TSM winning on time alone. What is that face, Bolo? I love these player cams. You get some. I love how we saw Psycho earlier on, looking like a Psycho with some of the reactions, how excited he was at winning the rounds. Then you get things like that that are equally very entertaining on the way too.
Heading up to the top floor then for round 5. It is 2-2 on the scoreboard as TSM, after a bumpy start, managed to get themselves back into this one. They're going to be defending Master and Office this time around. We've got the Jaeger setting himself up there. Murky's going to be playing in that bathtub. He's got the Frost mat next to him. All 3 ADSs, Des, are in there. They are not going to be budging out of this bathroom position. They want to keep themselves locked firmly inside of there. We know that it can be one of those power spots, especially if you're trying to push in from the solarium side.
Can indeed. It's all about that push from the last time you remember. They got in there with a 10 men still alive. Sorry, Plant was coming down and everything down to the south was completely ignored. For TSM, there are 2 playing down here. I think trying to greet anyone that might try and push in. It almost feels reminiscent of Villa, where you think about Trophy and Statuary, you can attack from the north if you want, come in straight from bathroom into Astro, into bedroom, for example. Similar sort of feeling here with Solarium. Or you can start on the other side of the map, and very commonly, if you're pushing in from Study, you'll find yourself with 2 defenders looking to contest you. A similar sort of vibe coming out from TSM here on this defense of the top side towards the north.
1 minute into the round then, Team Liquid not established inside of the map yet. We've had reasonably slow starts to a lot of these attacking rounds. Liquid playing with caution, looking to get the drones in, gather the information, and just make sure that they know what's in front of them before they're going in. It's done them well, it's served them well for the first couple of rounds, but then after that, TSM just seem to have woken up a little bit. There's a man, predictably, playing on the mezzanine. We've commented on the power of that position. Great opener from Moringa. Nesk manages to find one onto ball. And a second, showing the skill that comes with that Nesk push. 2 headshots there, just absolutely burning through TSM right now. 5 versus 2, and we're just over the halfway mark.
I was just about to say, we're only 90 seconds in. They've got drones, they've got utility, they've got everything they could need to push forward and make this round a success in a 5 versus 2. If they give this away with 90 seconds left and all that stuff I just talked about a second ago, that will be one of the biggest throws I think I've ever seen. So they should be taking this one a little bit passively, getting the drones in, locating Charla and Geo, and saying, right, we know how we can win this one now. Incredible tag team duo coming out of Moringa and Ness. Ness could have got the triple, by the way, I think, but Moringa just about snagged it away from him about half a second prior. So unfortunate to not be walking away with more kills to add to the record in this case. Let's see what Geo can do, stepping out with the Aldrin Hound. We know how much damage it can do. Full white screen, and there goes Geo. This could be a flawless round. Yes, it shall be. PSK closing things out. Liquid cakewalking round number 5.
Caught on the long angle there, shut down for the round, flawless for Team Liquid, as that was a very solid attack. Moringa and Nesk really putting them onto a great start to begin with a couple of big entry frags that just really powered them into the rest of the round, and they looked very, very comfortable from there not to be dislodged. I think Team Liquid does really need to be taking a 4-2 half here, because if we do see Chalet continue to play out with an attacker bias, if it's level at 3-3, that's then a big advantage to TSM. They are, of course, 1 map up. If you've only just joined us, where have you been for starters? But TSM, they won Cafe. It took them 12 rounds. It was 7-5, but they won up here. It's best of 3. Team Liquid, they have no option. They win Chalet or they go home.
That's the terrifying thing, and has been for the last couple of days. You lose, you're out. Yesterday was 4 lower bracket round games. We had 4 teams go home. Well, only 1 will be going home today, so quite a difference in that one. But of course, the earlier game was the upper bracket final. NIP progressed into the grand final that takes place tomorrow at about 5 o'clock CEST. An hour before that is going to be the season reveal, so don't miss out on that. And prior to that one, it's the lower bracket final. The winner of this game coming up against MIBR, who lost in the upper bracket final earlier. It's going to be an absolute belter no matter which team makes it through. For the story, I want to say that I want it to be TSM. I want to see an NA versus LATAM Grand Final because everyone needs that. Everyone needs to see it. But equally, like you said to me a few times, it feels like now is the time for LATAM to take the hammer home, because after how close they've been for a couple of years, this should be their chance to walk away the winners, Tim. LATAM need this, if nothing else. And with kill records like they're getting for Liquid, you almost don't want to see them going home this early.
You really don't. And we're going to head into bar and game for the last defensive round for TSM here. This is going to be looking to close out a strong half for them. They're going to try to level things up at 3-3 and just try to gain any sort of advantage that they can over Team Liquid before they head on to that attack. I'm sure if terms of momentum and mentality and everything else that goes with it. Now, Merc, he's inside of Library on the Aruni at the moment, just looking to apply pressure. We've spoken about the power of this position. Library, very important for all of the 3 sites that we've seen so far, to be honest. Kitchen, dining, master office, bar and game. Library is central to many of those attacks, but no more so than this one, really.
Should be able to step in and catch a couple of gadgets out here. Nesk, window to your right-hand side, buddy. Or at the very least giving out some calls to the team on where those gadgets are. I remember a few times we speak to a couple of teams. Old Team Secret was a great example. I think Meepy, when playing on IQ, would stand up on the roof and basically shot call the round with an IQ. Okay, got to get rid of this gadget. Throw a grenade here. We're going to make this play. It's going to happen. Right, ready, 3, 2, 1, go. And they just make the play happen off the back of that. So Nesk, I think, providing a little bit of that samey information. Merc now knows that it's a Ralph Wiggum, I'm in trouble. And he knows it as well. I'm in danger is the exact wording, because he knows that he's pinned into this back corner and the members of Liquid are starting to surround on all sides. If he loses the support from the top of Library, he's going to get pinched out of there pretty quickly. Does have support also out on Mezzanine, so for now it's not the end of the world. But if things do start looking south, well, guess what? He's very much pinned in and isolated.
Geo on the Library stairs once again will be forced away, and we will see the Goyo shield burnt out of action. Bolo finds the opening kill this time onto Sexy Cake, taking the Hibana down, and TSM have once again got themselves a strong start inside of this one. They are looking to keep hold of that top floor for the time being. They've got the Wamai of Bolo playing on Mezzanine. He's been very difficult. He's been a consistent feature throughout this one, holding on to that Mezzanine position. We can see you've got the Frostmat over there on the office breach wall, just looking to prevent any access to that balcony area as PSK. He's got himself inside. He's going to keep trying to play out of this office breach, but right now he's held in place. Palu manages to find a kill onto Geo. Shut down as Bolo drops down to the lower level and finds a kill to trade it out. Merc gets one as well on the Aruni. That's Moringa down. Nesk, he starts fighting back by getting the trade. 15 seconds left to go as the time is ticking by on the final defensive round for TSM here. Nesk, he's got some work to do. He's moving into sight. Shut down by Bolo for the last few of his hit points. 3 seconds left to go. Surely it's over. It is, as Sharla finds the kill onto PSK, and that's going to close out round 6. And TSM, they've leveled things up at 3-3.
Remind me, came in on 176, so 24 kills Bolo needs to get in this series to pass over the mark. He got 14 on the first map. How many kills is he on this map, Tim? Because I know you've got the stats in front of your face. What's he currently sat on if we step over to our live stats tab?
I don't think it'll necessarily include the last round, because I'm not sure it's gone up.
Was it across the whole series, is it showing us? Yeah, it looks like it is.
At the minute, yes.
Okay, so with the last round there, 3 more. He is 4 kills short of also breaching 200 at an SI then. That'll be, what, 3 players? Because I think Palu will also step over the line.
This is wild.
Palu, Nesk, Bolo.
I mean, it just goes to show the quality that we're seeing here at SI 2021. The fact that we're in a position, you know, obviously we've had, well, we can look at it and say, well, there's been a format change. You know, teams have played 9 group stage games. Yep. But as I pointed out last time, we remember Pino in SI 2020, 196 kills. He played 21 maps in SI 2020. So we're talking, this is the 20th map for these teams. So we're not talking about, you know, a huge shift in loads of extra maps. Yes, once one of them have gone on and played another couple of games, that might be the case. But we are at this point actually talking as a relatively direct comparison back to SI 2020. And the fact is that the kills are much higher here, and these players, they're just going from strength to strength.
Maybe a sign of the more attacking meta that we're stepping into. A lot of people saying that right now the game is moving towards that attacker-leaning feel, that defenders, things like the heavy shield setups, the utility meta, when it was kind of gutted, is no longer so prevalent, but it does enable a bit more fraggy kind of play, makes the game feel a lot more fluid. And in fact, a lot of pros have commented that the current meta feels incredibly enjoyable, and I completely agree, to be honest. Anyway, stepping into the second half, it's going to be TSM on the attack, the 0, which the Des mentioned earlier on, being brought along here. More very useful for extra info on the attacking side. So, of course, being able to pop it on doorways, on soft walls, on windows, you name it. You can just leave them there all round and use it to cover flanks for your team, for example, or feed you information later in the round. Of course, your dead teammates, I think being able to keep a close eye on them is going to give you a whole load of help. Another one coming in here at the bottom inside a trophy is going to be able to help cover any flanks too. So Charla getting very busy to work on those to begin with.
Bolo looking to pressure on the vertical angle already underneath there with the Zafira. He finds one, but Charla beats him to it with a kill on to PSK there. 5 versus 4 as TSM come in strong on the entry once again. But once again, it's Palu fighting back as he finds the trade. Palu gets traded by Bolo, though. This is back and forward. It's like a piece of elastic just bouncing one end to the other from TSM to Team Liquid and back again as we sit directly in the middle. 3 versus 3 as it is. 3 versus 2 as Gio finds Sexy Cake. Des, I can't take many more trades. We've got another one here. 2 versus 2 and we're only halfway through the round.
Absolute chaos stepping out. The 2 versus 2 and 90 seconds to play means that you can breathe a little bit here, boys. Moringa has still got 2 smoke canisters to play behind as well. No massive fear, but achieved with 2 grenades in the back pocket. Keep a close eye on where those might get swinging. As I say it, he pulls one out. One gets popped out on the other side, but there's going to be a magnet to catch it out. So both of those have now been burnt through, and no one will be going down on either side. But it does open things up for Merc to step through. The fear of God being struck into Moringa in case there's anything else to follow. Breaching around from below, revealing the floor, and maybe there's some contest to be having from below here, but imagine it's going to be a push-up. 30 seconds of elapsed ace, 60 still to play with.
Merc just keep him playing around those solarium stairs. Going to get onto the drone now. I think he was just concerned about being challenged potentially. Sees the man inside a bathroom, knows that Moringa is playing in there, but it's going to be a difficult one to challenge because it is on such a close quarters engagement and Moringa has got the shotgun in hand. It's 2 versus 2 and any kill here could be a massive factor in who wins this round because it leaves the other in a 1vx situation. The clock is ticking down and right now TSM, they need to get moving. They need to do something. Achieve takes out the cam before he just jumps out of the office breach window there to move around and try and potentially just try another angle of attack. Merc, he's searching for anybody. Team Liquid doing a great job of keeping themselves out of sight as Moringa pops up from behind the piano and plays a tune as he gets the kill. Nesk finishes the round with a kill onto Achieved. No matter how much he skulked and tried to move around to a new angle, he could not fox Nesk, who gets that final kill and closes out the round for Team Liquid. 4-3, and the Brazilians keep on fighting.
Marching on forwards, out of sight, out of mind, the best way I can describe it. When you've got your cursor just scanning across the head of someone, you start thinking this really should be a kill that Merc finds there. Unfortunately, not to be the case. It started with a bit of chaos and then descended into this very kind of quiet, calm 2v2, like a duo sort of game rather than a full-on team thing. Great shot from Nesk in the first instance, and look at that, had all the time in the world to shoot him first, but Merc, a little bit absent there, didn't spot the man against the back wall, and Liquid pull ahead. Defensive round wins. They feel quite rare to take on this map, but finding one in your first defensive round, absolutely zero complaints from the Liquid camp.
So we head into round 8, Des. Round 8, and there isn't a round to separate them. Are you going to say it, or am I?
You could say it.
This one looks like it could be.
I had it in the last one. I
wouldn't be surprised to see this one go to overtime. 4-3 for Team Liquid at the minute, and it has been very close. The reason that I mention that, the reason that I say that, I'm not trying to just speak it into existence. It's because we've seen this constant back and forth. I'm not, Des, really, I'm not. We've seen this constant back and forth. Nobody has been able to get a substantial and significant lead here in this one. They've both kept themselves very much in touch. And to be honest, Des, it's something that we're starting to see as a real factor for TSM. Remember yesterday against Oxygen, I said exactly the same. It was close, but TSM just had that extra 5%. And they seem to be doing the same thing. They are keeping it close, keeping it close, keeping it close, and then at the last second, round 12, bang, there they go, they get the win, and they just bring out that extra few percent. And that is a very important quality in a team in this format of tournament.
You're speaking about the 5% sort of statement yesterday, in that how some rounds were nail-bitingly close. Cafe earlier was a great example, but sometimes teams just eke out that little bit extra to get you over the finish line, often in the form of just hitting those shots, a small fragment beforehand. And in fact, someone commented earlier on that they've seen teams using alternative grips, vertical and angled, of course, the ones that we're talking about. They're saying those 300 milliseconds when you're not using the right grip can really come back to bite you, especially in the rapid nature of games and gunfights like this. Bolo definitely lost out because of the wrong grip there, 100%. Not going to take anything else about it. 2 kills for Liquid to start the round. That's definitely get things moving. Achieved back onto Palu, mind you, finally gets put in the dirt by PSK from up on the mezzanine. 4 versus 2 for Liquid and Ace. You're starting to feel a bit dicey about it because if they start getting more rounds like these where they're getting the early kills and winning defensive rounds, you start to sweat a bit for TSM.
The Chiefs had quite a few important kills so far today. He's always seems to come in at the right time to try and turn the floor, but he's been unsuccessful here. It really needed somebody to sort of double down on it and try and back him up with another one, but they were unable to. I need to sit down for a second.
I mean, take a seat, Ace, by all means, because that was absolutely filthy coming out of Geo. And he gets the plant coming in as well. Surely you saw the plants up. Oh, he does see him, but not before it gets confirmed. Charla's out, and like that, Liquid have won the round. It started a little bit filthy, but Liquid call him the janitor because they just cleaned up.
I gotta say, TSM almost deserved to win that round just off that kill from Geo. It was horrendous, but great play from Team Liquid. They didn't panic there. As you said, he can see the planter, but they weren't rushing to stop the plant because they knew they didn't need to. They were happy to take the retake, and this is something, again, that sort of newer viewers to Siege might not understand. Sometimes teams will actively play for a retake. They will actively give up possession of site. They will actively almost allow that diffuser down so that they can come in and play on the retake because they are set up for it, because that is the most powerful thing to do at that moment in time. And that is exactly what Liquid have done there. They knew that the challenge to be made was to be made once that diffuser had gone down, and as he moves away, there you go, it doesn't matter, we've got both of the kills, we've got them lined up, and it's job done. Well played, Team Liquid.
That's them set up 5 and 3, and rightly so. On TSM side, they call the tactical timeout. They want a discussion. This was their map pick, a map that, again, they have not lost to any team outside of NA. The only team they have lost to on it inside this calendar year has been Oxygen. It's their map. They are 5 and 1 in record on it in total, but right now seem to be challenged by Team Liquid's defense. Maybe it's the capability, as we spoke about so many times over, of players like Palu and Nesk doing absolute work. And I've got to give a shout out to a player that doesn't normally always get recognized as well, Moringa, doing a lot of work on this map, joining in those early entry tools. You wouldn't normally expect that from a support player, but also doing his fair share of work towards the back end of rounds as well. Definitely presenting a challenge to TSM. We need to dig deep here and come up with some new ideas.
I mean, how many times have we seen this as well, Des, that teams come in and they win the other team's first map and then they come back and they lose their own map? We've seen so many times the map pick being taken away from the team that chose it. And the thing to remember here is that these teams, they are very capable at playing on every single map inside the pool. So we come in saying, yeah, Chalet is TSM's pick. And yes, of course, you would expect them to be prepared for it. That's why they wanted to play it. You would expect them to come in there comfortable and confident in order to lock that out. But it's by no means a guarantee. It's, you know, these teams are all well practiced. Team Liquid will have scrimmed Chalet plenty of times. They'll know what it's about, and they're coming in here and showing that. And there isn't huge margins between the teams on each map. Of course, teams do get well known for a few good results or a few good performances or having a particularly useful strategy on a map, but it certainly is by no means a guarantee.
One thing worth noting, I think, in the previous round was after 90 seconds as well, Charla still had 3 SAM cams in the back pocket, or Argus cams as they're more officially called, but SAM cams sounds far more fun, as initially dubbed, I believe, by the NA casting team. I think in the spot where you've taken 3 early gunfights and lost out, you're not really being too critical of the fact that they're still in the back pocket. But I think with the addition of the Jackal, it's just screaming that the information game for TSM is what has been lacking. They want to catch out where these players are, set up some pinches, hunt down the roamers, again looking towards players like Sexy Kate, towards Palu, Nesk, who have been giving them absolute headaches on the roam so far. So I'm looking to see where all of those trackers are used. The INOT scanner by Merc should come in big this round, assuming they get him in the right position at the right time.
Charla on the 0, as picked up by Milosh previously. We've seen him using it an awful lot, especially here on Chalet, so he's going to get 2 of those SAM cams out now, and you can see there the single-use bolt going out to take out the default cam, and it is a small little alternative potential to Thatcher as well, able to take out things like mute jammers, bandit batteries if necessary, but in this case just being used to deny information as well as to give it now. Bolo, he's moving through library but gets shut down by Nesta. who's at the top of Library Stairs with the Arunia. Great start for him. Sexy Cake on the mezzanine, just looking to apply pressure into Library as well. And so far, the TSM push into that area of the map has just faltered a little bit. There is one man still in there. I think it is achieved. It is. He's looking to gain anything that he can out onto the mezzanine, but Sexy Cake, after giving him one small opportunity, is no doubt going to keep himself out of the way. In fact, I think he drops and rotates and gets the kill onto Charla, but shut down ultimately by Achieved as he does move back across. He must not have been aware that there was a man on the rotate, on the little peak hole there out of Library onto mezzanine.
He moved in front of him a couple of times, but Achieve missed the first shot, and I'm just kind of surprised that Sexy Cake didn't immediately respond and try and challenge him off the back of it. But 10 seconds later, does go for just that, and unfortunately walks away the loser. They've still got a player at the top of Library Stairs. We spoke about this earlier on, that sometimes it can be a little bit far to extend into Library itself, but at least holding the perimeter around it does make it a rough entry into the map for TSM. It's not safe to step inside a Library whilst those players are present. The Inox ringing out, Achieve aware that there is someone above his head right now. Doesn't need to worry about taking the challenge just yet. With that Inox still ticking out, they at least know that someone is nearby. Pala finally being taken out by Merc. 3 versus 3. 45 seconds ace. We know how this works in favour of the defenders, especially when Moringa has still got all 3 smoke canisters.
Merc taking a lot of damage there. Nesk is low health as well, but this, for me, Des, is a must-win round for TSM here. They've got 3 versus 3 and 30 seconds to turn their fates around here on Chalet. If Team Liquid get themselves onto match point, it's unlikely that they give it up now. Then Moringa has to react quickly. He gets shots onto one, but then is challenged by Achieve rushing up from the basement. Great timing, but Gio was downed. Diffuser is in hand from Mercs. Moringa goes down. Merc has the opportunity to put the diffuser down on the ground. Achieve finishes the kill. It's all up to Nesk. 2 versus 1 stops the diffuser going down. 1 versus 1. Achieve sees him and gets the kill. He gets the kill onto Nesk, and TSM fight their way back into this one in another back and forth round.
Oh, an explosive final second round as well. 3 versus 3 at 45 seconds, and it comes down to that. That is massive for TSM. If they had lost that round, it's 6 and 3. At that point, you're basically signing off. You're giving the game over to the other side and thinking, surely it's difficult for them to come back into it. But my God, a close round, 5 and 4. What could have been a 3-round gap ends up being just a 1 round. Let's see how things progress as we now step into Master and Office for round number 10. I love how close these games are, Ace.
Me too. I mean, Sexy Kate just commanding that mezzanine area again, managing to get himself a kill onto Chala, but ultimately shut down by Achieved. And it just goes to show time after time why it is an important area of this map. We are guaranteed almost 12 rounds. There's 1 more for TSM, and that'll take us to 12. Achieved up out of his seat, and that's the passion, Des. That's what we want to see. That is what it means to these players. It is the emotions right on the edge.
Talking of emotions, if TSM win this and go on to face off against MIBR, knowing how vocal Bodega is, I wonder if he gets in the heads of the TSM boys at all. It will be incredible.
I think one thing to remember is, you know, to these guys, you know, this is... It's just another tool, you know, it's just another weapon in the armory. It's another tool in the toolbox. And as Julio said, they take it with a pinch of salt.
This is the thing, right?
Both players on either side know exactly what's going on. They know what they're trying to do, and the second that they let them get into their head, they're letting it work, and so you've just got to laugh it off and think, on we go.
I mean, this is it. Like Julio said, you know, they always kind of shake hands afterwards. Obviously, can't shake hands here, but what no one would have seen off camera is MIBR. All of them got out of the seats, thumbs up, you know, well played, boys. You know, really appreciated the game. Yep. There's no love to be broken there between those teams. They're all still really good friends in the region. There's nothing hateful coming out of it, so please don't sweat and think that it's a bad one. Merc with a he always says, I like getting in the chat and working in their heads, and he's getting inside of Palu's right now, finding him with the 1-tap quite comfortably.
Watch this.
Look at it. See
there was just no challenge from Palu, really. He moved across the window.
There was. He shot. He's down to 75 HP. It could have been a headshot. It would have been the kill going the other way.
That's very true.
Sit down, Ace. Righty, 5 versus 4 for TSM, a good advantage.
Sound like Merc in the chat.
Oh, don't I just GN, don't type again, don't talk again, TY. And he says the same again. Bolo, this time catching out Sexy Cake, who was on a bit of a random rotate from the top of Library. I think he was hoping he could get back to his team before they pushed too deep into Library, but clearly mistimed that one ever so slightly.
A bomb has been located.
Bolo's going to hold that angle for the time being. The silhouette is behind a hard wall, so he's not going to move in and get a kill, don't worry. The Team Liquid are just holding on to Piano for the time being. Gio's going to look to open up that off this breach and gain access into the half-wall planting site for the time being. Team Liquid have been forced back really deep here. You can see all the way back into Master Bathroom and Piano. It's time for them to do something, and that something comes from Nesk in the form of an unbelievable headshot onto Merc. He must have had some information, Des. It's a common spot for somebody to hold the angle, but that pre-fire was just unreal.
Where was the question mark in chat? I want to know. Make him sit down.
Should have hit him with it.
Make him pay for earlier on. It would have been the great one to respond. The duo come in and saying, you're going to bully my little brother? Well, I'm here. I'm big brother, ready to bully you back. Either way, 4 versus 4, and the run out from Nesk as well.
Nesk's on one.
He's doing it all here. Achieves also in the mud, but a plank going down from Geo. Can they see the long angle? No. Charla finding it first. They've pushed in through the breach and with it back behind the half wall. This should be secured by Geo. Out comes another smoke here. They're trying to stop it, but it's not going to happen. TSM get away with the plan and secure the kill to close the round out. They've drawn things back up to 5 apiece. Once again, Ace, same as on Cafe, we've got a game on our hands.
We are going all the way to 12 rounds, and Team Liquid right now, Des, they have got 2 rounds. They have got 2 chances to save themselves inside of the Six Invitational 2021. Those are the stakes right now. It does not get bigger than this for the Brazilian team. No more mistakes, Des. They don't want to take this to overtime. They don't want that risk. They don't want to be having to try and close this out in a best of 3 rounds. They want to get this locked down 7-5 and on to that final map. With that in mind, they've hit the tactical timeout, Des. Liquid have just hit the brakes. They've tried to put a pause on TSM. They're trying to break the momentum, and they're trying to fix whatever the problem is quickly so they can get these last 2 rounds over the line.
We've spoken about timeouts a couple of times in this competition and around the drastic change it can have in the following round. For TSM, happened a couple of rounds back. They brought 2 back. Now Liquid are using their chance to say, okay, what can we do to flip this over? You can see Mitty, their coach, stood behind them. It was Bob who was with them last year. This time around, it is Mitty, and he's having a conversation to help the boys get their mental reset. For a number of teams, it's about calming you down again, getting the kind of any confusion in the team worked out, communication issues, or just sharing, look, boys, back to basics. Remember the fundamentals. Let's go from square one and work it forward. Liquid have shown already that they can work magic like in their first 2 defensive rounds. They would hate to see this slip to TSM now, given that Cafe ended up in almost an exactly identical situation. Both teams at 5-5, and TSM went on to win the next 2 rounds.
Everybody take a breath. Everybody make sure you sat comfortably. Just let your heart rate slow down a little bit, because we are...
Aces hits 200.
It's for my own safety, Des.
Stretch it out, Ace, you got this.
We are coming into round 11. Don't you worry, the energy and hype is going absolutely nowhere, because this game right now, it is off the chart, Des. It is right up there, and these could be 2 historic rounds here. It could be Team Liquid on the way to their first ever World Championship inside of Siege, or it could be them crashing and burning and going home out of the lower bracket, and TSM marching on with that North American flag held high.
5 seconds left before insertion.
The stories are what we live for. And to think this is the 3rd last game of SI, we've got 1 more in the morning. We've then got the grand finals coming after the operation reveal. It's going to be incredible tomorrow. Make sure you don't miss it. Mute Jammers stacked up to the north already to kick things off, which I like. It's going to impede that push through Solarium a little bit, and hopefully, at least for the side of Liquid, give them a bit more time to play with later in the round, because TSM were quite good at wasting time in the first half for a few of their rounds and forcing Liquid into these difficult late round scraps. Admittedly, Liquid have brought it close a couple of times, just sadly achieved hits a little bit better when that clock hits 1 second remaining and manages to get it over the finish line.
This is it, the calm before the storm that will be the next 2 rounds. We've got 2 players from Team Liquid up on the top floor for the time being. They're going to have to be dealt with by TSM. They can't ignore them. They need to find them, otherwise they will get hit on the flank in the late round. There is no 2 ways about it. And We've spoken about the importance of vertical control for a bar and game room site. That's something they need to be aware of, and something they need to be aware of, Des, is Merc, as he removes the head from the shoulders of Palu. The Malusi just strolling in front of him. Palu absolutely no idea that he'd pushed in through the single window. It's such a common point of ingress, Des. You gotta be ready for that one.
Merc is just taking heads on the entry. It was the same back on Cafe. We spoke about it there. I vocalized again that in groups I was concerned about him and achieved not quite hitting the mark when it came to getting those sharp, crisp entry kills like you see from Nesk in a few of these rounds. Well, he's definitely woken up and changed that one because he is hitting so many critical shots to give TSM the early advantage. It either feels like he starts out with the entry kill or Ness walks in and kills 3 people. There's no in between.
There really isn't at this point in time. Merc, he relocates. He's on the Jackal, so he can get inside, use that Inox scanner and see if he can just pick up any footprints. There is still a man inside of Library, but if he hasn't moved recently, if he's just kept himself locked in the corner, there might not be anything for the Jackal to pick up. Nesk gets a kill onto Geo, Nesk gets another onto Achieved. This is turning into the Nesk show, Des, as he gets another double here. We've got 15 kills on the scoreboard for him. Bolo finds one onto Moringa, shuts him down. Calm down, Bolo. Don't go taking pop shots at Merc. They can see each other. Merc's holding the angle. He's cutting off the rotate from Library stairs, but the problem is there's still one above. Nesk finds Bolo. Merc, you can't stop him if he doesn't come down the stairs. There you go. That's 4 for Nesk. Can he find a fence? Yes, he can, Des. That is the ace from Nesk when Team Liquid have never needed it more. 3 kills from the Library stairs, and he has just educated TSM.
4 kills, I think that might have been from those stairs. Most of them with a shotgun. Like, I don't understand why Merc's stepping forward knowing that he's just killed your teammate from on the stairs thinking, oh, it's fine. He'll definitely have rotated off after 3 kills. Well, clearly you don't know him well enough. He just sits there all day long. A great starting kill coming out in this spot. Then one steps up. Oh, okay, it's a 5 versus, it's a 4 versus 4. Sorry, grenade comes in. Another kill from above. Someone else steps up. Here comes a new challenger. Ness, still the reigning champion. Quad kill into the final one. Charla, really the only one I felt that paid him any kind of respect on those stairs. The others, barely even looking at him. All too simple to get them over the finish line. And you can see what it means to him as well. The boys are absolutely ecstatic. 6-5 to Liquid. 1 more round and 2 of our maps will have gone to 7 and 5. Overtime will have only just about evaded us, but there is still time for it to happen. If TSM take this round, we get our first overtime in this series, Ace.
This is exactly the sort of tie that was deserving of these 2 teams, Des. They have been 2 behemoths inside of the Six Invitational so far. They have given us some of the greatest entertainment, some of the biggest moments that we've seen, and this is exactly the sort of battle that we deserve between these 2. Both of them throwing down here and not leaving a single thing on the field. TSM, you've got Nesk on Library stairs, Des. There's a call out.
Just stop. Just say, you've just got Nesk.
There's a call out. Nesk on Library stairs. Second kill. Nesk on Library stairs.
Right. So you've got Bolo window on Cafe.
It's Nesk on Library stairs.
We can shorten that a little
You've
bit.
got to get in there and dislodge him.
Well, you can't really be like, oh, Ace is on, Nesk on Library stairs. That's not a call out. But you can just call it Nesk.
Nesk's there.
Nesk's on Nesk or Ace is on Nesk. You know, that's the way you can play these things out. They're meant to be nice and short and sweet to say things out loud. Either way, let's step into it. 30 seconds in, no early chaos, which has been a nice thing about this series. It's been very composed compared to the high-paced aggression brought out of NIP in there.
What?
Good night. Didn't even see that one coming, did he? Sexy K just having his head clean blown off by Bolo. That's not the first time we've seen a member of TSM push from that window, though. You'd think he would have expected it after losing out, I believe it was to Merc or Achieved earlier on, pushing him from the same spot. Took the challenge and didn't quite win it out, and here we go.
Oh.
Bam! As easy as they come. They line up, you see the pixels change colour, you press left mouse button, people die. It's that easy.
We've spoke about the importance of the mezzanine spot and clearing it out that early in the round. That could be a real positive for TSM here if they're looking to push towards overtime, which they absolutely certainly will be. They need to keep themselves. They don't want to go to a third map that's not the sort of thing you want to do against Team Liquid. But the problem is they might have got Sexy Kate, they haven't got Nesk yet. The challenge continues as Bolo comes off worse for wear. Nesk does take a little bit as well and gets shut down. That surely is the moment in the round for TSM. 5 versus 3 now. Top floor control almost theirs. I was just about to say, as there is just Palu to clear out, but you can never think of it as just Palu. He is just as capable of putting in an ace as Nesk is. He sees the drone. He knows he's going to be challenged. He uses the Oryx dash to get himself away.
No, why'd you come back?
He repeats the door and gets shut down by Bolo, who was hot on his heels. 5 versus 2 TSM. Des, they're taking us all the way. This is going to overtime.
It's got to go to overtime unless PSK Moringa can do something special. Bolo been pretty quiet for most of this map, considering how well he played in the previous one. Been a while since a multi-kill from him. Makes it a quad. Can he answer Ness? No, he cannot. Shala takes it off him, but it's still 4 kills for Bolo. TSM force us through to overtime. This is what we turned up to see, Ace. We're getting something magic before our very eyes.
At that point, you do not mess about. If you're Charla, you put that kill down if you get the opportunity. It is as simple as that. You don't worry about Bolo or being on an ace. This is to keep yourself fighting for the Six Invitational title. There will be absolutely no problem in that.
And that is, I believe, with that quad kill, him also stepping over the mark of 200 kills. Remember, he came in today on 176. He is now on 26 kills after the conclusion of that round.
102.
That's not a bad 4K to have to go, hey, here's me submitting my card to step in.
In fact, it'll be a few more. I think they're just getting
203.
our stats update as we go, so they will catch up as we, I don't think we've got all 4 of them registered on there yet, but showing 203, 27 for the day across 2 maps. Unbelievable.
That's for Nesk. Bolo at the top of the screen on 26. Even I looked at the bottom.
I think it switched the teams.
Yeah,
it was on top and it switched.
That confused the living hell out of me. I don't know if it's on round difference or something. I don't know. Either way, it's the magic that CGG do for us. Thanks very much for your help on that one, guys. We really appreciate the live stats, and I hope you're listening and hearing how thankful we are. Let's get started then into overtime. Liquid start on the defense, Ace. Does that concern you?
It has to. I mean, it has to concern any Liquid fan, at least. I am a true neutral here, Des. You know, it's
You neutral?
whoever wins, be it LATAM, be it North America, I am absolutely neutral in this situation. But the attackers have had the run of things so far. I mean, I say I say that, but Team Liquid have had a good few defences. It's been 3-3. One round you've got to not discount for Liquid, but it took an SKS to get it over the line. It's not to say they wouldn't have won it without it, but it was a big factor, obviously, a huge factor. So, you know, they need to be reliant then on those sort of performances. They need big moments from their remaining players.
But equally, the last one also took a 4K from Bolo.
Very true. And this is my point. It needs those big moments. It needs players to really step up now, as they have been doing throughout this game. This is the time where you really forge a legend of yourself, where you start getting these maps over the line and getting them closed out, because they are not easy. Sexy Cake starts things off with damage onto Merc, finished off by guess who, Des? It's Nesk once again. Headshot with the SMG this time. He is just roaming around and picking people up at will.
The LATAM laser beams with the SMGs, Ace. We were warned coming into this one. Many a player in EU, especially the high-ranked ones, were saying it's actually terrifying to play against some of these LATAM players who just do not miss with the SMG, and maybe that's exactly the sort of fun that Nesk is having. He's got a C4 to play behind if he wants it to. 2 people are rammed by Bolo here on his watch to manage to get back safely. Nice try to cut out the rotate back to safety, I think, but at least now for Liquid, having found 1 kill and burnt 90 seconds, they're all the happier to step back down to the south side of the map and play it safe.
Sexy Cake is just going to lock himself into sight now. He will just set up shop there, and that is where he will try to remain for the rest of the round. Nesk is once again on those library stairs. These lessons have been learnt, I'm sure, from TSM. They are not going to try and push towards this site until Nesk has been dealt with. The problem that they might find is how long it takes them to do that. We are 2 minutes into the round, and the top floor clearance is still not complete yet. Nesk is in situ behind that deployable shield and almost daring them to challenge onto him. He's waiting for this opportunity to come, and with 45 seconds left, it's going to have to come sooner rather than later.
It's going to be a bloodbath again, Ace. 40 seconds and 9 men still stand on the field here. There is going to be absolute slaughter in the dying seconds as two have dug themselves inside of the stock room at the very bottom of your screens. One on side of sight and one currently in basement. TSM stand on the top floor and now need to make the move. They've got 20 seconds to get the hatch opened up and make the push. Bolo bringing down Sexy Cake. 4 versus 4 and 20 seconds yet to play with as the smokes start being deployed. There are still 2 C4s remaining for Liquid here. They are just daring TSM to step into their line. PSK finding one. Great return fire coming out. Steps into more shots. Nesk puts one more down, but they're looking the wrong way. It's a double kill coming out from Moringa in the bitter end of things. TSM, they lose it out. Liquid move to map point.
Moringa closing us out there with 2 kills on the shotgun to finish things off. Team Liquid with a successful defensive bar and game again find themselves now 7-6. It is of course best of 3 rounds here in overtime, so they will need another one yet. It is the first to 8 rounds. Nesk, I don't want to just keep shouting him out because there's so much more going on in this side, Des, but he's just so reliable, coming in again when they need him and getting 2 kills in the round. It's just so consistent.
I mean, he's putting on a show is possibly the only real way I can describe this now. To say we aren't going home yet, you called out at the very start of the day, it would be ludicrous for Nesk or Palu with all they've done, the sort of numbers they're putting up, to not walk home with the hammer at some point would be a crime.
There's no other way to put it, Des. There is no... The real heartbreaker is, and it's much like any other sort of competitive sport or esport or anything else, we're getting to a point in Siege, or I think we're way beyond the point in Siege, to be fair, where you'll look across the teams now and look at how many players seem to, or feel like they've got that status that this player should be winning the hammer at some point. This player should be taking this. And there's just not enough time for them all, Des. There's not enough time for all the rosters to win year after year before things change significantly is the real point. You know, you look at, you know, this may be Bolo's year. By next year, things could look completely different and the opportunity might not present itself again. And that just really stresses the importance of these tournaments year to year, where a team has a good run. You've got to take that chance. You've got to grasp it with both hands, Des.
Let's see how this attack shapes up there for Liquid. Looking to close it out here and now at 8-6. Let's not go to the heartbreaker that can be round 15 for one of these teams. Given the site they're attacking, down towards kitchen, normally you will look to open up the hell wall, the one that looks straight inside of dining itself. And with that gives you real long angles looking straight up inside the kitchen, as well as the hallway that goes up towards West Main. It makes it incredibly difficult for the attackers to play inside of that spot, but the attackers playing on Heaven Wall, formerly known by a different name, but thanks to a few comments by a certain someone on Twitter, shall no longer be called that name, they're in a spot to be able to contest on the top floor as well. And if you do get the hell wall opened up, well, guess what? You're going to have hell rain down on you from above inside of Heaven, and you'll find yourself in a spot of difficulty to actually make a plant happen. Down below though, Nesk is getting underneath and shooting out the mute jammer, which should make it a bit easier to open up. Open the top, then you can work on opening out the bottom once you've forced out the tail. My God, really? Sexy K bolting out and Merc running like an absolute buck there, but then he gets counter-ed by Palu, who puts him in the dirt. They should be able to recover Sexy K, but here comes Achieved. He really wants to complete this kill, I think, as another one comes out to get him up. And now I think it's a good time to say, all right, we lose out on this one. Let's get ourselves safe as Moringa gets Sexy K back on his feet.
A war of attrition there with TSM coming off worse for wear, but Bolo, he finds an important kill with a headshot onto Ness. That takes the IQ off the board. Not only important in that it's Ness that has gone, but also the fact that the IQ is out of the running. So with 1 minute and 10 seconds left to go, any electronic gadget should pretty much remain safe now, but PSK finds the kill onto Achieved. This could be it. No, Bolo fights back. TSM, they're not ready to lose Chalet just yet. Bolo steps up with a kill onto the bathroom window. 3 versus 2. 55 seconds left to go. There is an age left inside of this round so far. There is still the opportunity for PSK and Moringa to do this. Moringa He gets the Inox track, and that will start to ping out one of the remaining TSM players. Bolo, he's just going to hold an angle onto those solarium stairs for the time being. 35 seconds left to go. Work to be done, but it's still possible for Team Liquid. I've got a feeling though, Des. I've got a feeling this one's going to 15.
It's going to a frost bat in case there's a frost on the field and they're late into the round where they haven't had time to do a full clear. I would not be surprised to see one of these players jump into one here. I think it's going to be so difficult to take the firefight. He knows, I think, with that ping on the front of the window, at least knows there might be one there. There is not. Can get himself inside. They've got this north side set up, but a C4 from Bolo, a spray down from Gio. Round 15 on Chalet. It spins on a dime for Team Liquid. You lose this round, you're going home. You win it, you're going through to Oregon. Imagine if it all ends here. I don't know who'll be more heartbroken, the boys or you.
I'm absolutely...
Oh, yeah, sorry, you're
a
true neutral. Yeah,
I am a true neutral.
Sorry, forgot about
What I will say is, genuinely, I am really enjoying the performance out of TSM. Bolo, particularly, is putting on a masterclass right now. And having Bolo and Nesk both throw down like this inside of the same map is absolutely unbelievable entertainment. And that is the true fact there. That is what I am really enjoying inside of this one. TSM, they've got the opportunity, Des. This is their match point, not just the map point. This one would be it. This one would push them forward into that lower bracket final meetup against MIBR. There is the possibility for them to do it. They come in on the attack. Team Liquid have been solid on the defense so far. They got the first overtime round on defense. There is 3 minutes that stands between TSM and moving forward in the tournament. There is 3 minutes that stands between Team Liquid and having an opportunity to keep fighting.
The call out apparently is in now, Tim. That wall is to be called Fluke.
Okay.
That's what we're going with. It's going to be Fluke for this round. No more time for a new call out to step in than in arguably the most important round in Team Liquid's career. Let's not forget, they have never got this far at SI before. To go home now would be absolutely heartbreaking. They want to carry on with their friends from Latom to play against them in the next round. MIBR wait for them there. It would be NIP in the grand final. I'm sure there's many who think they could do it, but TSM look to end that fairy tale here and now and start creating their own as they become one of the final 3 teams still here at the Six Invitational. It's kitchen and dining where everything is shaping up. Take a deep breath, Ace. I can see you rubbing your head. I know this one's painful. I can see what it's coming down to because we know that hearts could break in this round. 6 of them, plus many more watching around the world is the way that it can shape out. No early kills coming out for Nesk or Bolo. They're always the ones that we're looking out for. And Merc especially, on the right day, can find himself one. Moringa almost being taken down.
That's an early blow delivered by TSM there as Moringa is on low health. Has to duck out of the way of that nade, but does fantastically well. Just manages to time it with the rappel of his enemy there so that he doesn't get spotted out through the window. Gonna just keep himself locked into the stairs for the time being, but needs to be careful because they are fully aware of his location. He's stuck at this point, Des. He can't move past the windows. Chala is gonna hold him there on the stairs. Sexy Kate gets Bolo. That is a big kill for Team Liquid. That is a step towards that final map, that decider on Oregon if these go to 3. But there is still 1 minute 40 here for Team Liquid to hold on. They need to find more kills. They need to hold back the tide of the TSM attack. And who else but Nesk to step up when needed most and get a headshot onto achieved 5 versus 3. And we are barely halfway through the round. Team Liquid, they are grasping a hold of Chalet here and they are loath to let go.
Chala almost losing his life as well. It would have put him down to just a 5 versus 2, but keeps himself going for a little longer. 1 minute and 10 stands between them and a map 3. Nesk steps up, massive kill, makes it 22. All the 2s to close out map number 2. It's almost like it's written in the stars. 2 more to go, and we go to map 3. Oregon will wait to be the decider between these 2 teams on whose journey ends here and now. Sexy Cake on the vertical, daring him to step forward, but it's not going to happen. Chala, he sees defeat but can't find the kill. Knows that one's at the top of library. He's almost pinned it in here between a rock and a hard place. There's bathroom and there is library. The step out comes through. Talk about a way to send a message, a flawless round for Liquid. We go to map number 3.
Team Liquid keep fighting inside of this lower bracket matchup of the Six Invitational 2021. They huddle together. The team bond is strong as they push forward to Oregon. We're going to see 3 TSM. Plenty of fight left in them. There is an age to settle this yet, Des.
Well, boys and girls, grab yourself some popcorn, grab a coffee, whatever it is that's going to get you through our third map and the final one of the day. We're going to go to a quick break. See you in a few.